Too raw.
Yo, what's happening, man? It's your boy Rundown. If you're depressed watching your favorite sports team on the football field, but you just can't stop buying their gear, then congratulations. You might be a Raiders fan. But listen, man, don't trip. I got the perfect thing for you, man. Here at the Rundown, we have partnered with Fanatics to bring the nation some of the freshest Raider gear that you can get your hands on. I'm talking jerseys, I'm talking hats, and you know it's starting to get chilly out here, so it's best to grab you some drip for the frosty season while you're at it as well. So tap the link in the description down below, get you some fresh gear, man. Support the channel at the same time. It's a dub for you, dub for me, even though we're not getting that many dubs on the field at the moment, man. So remember, man, tap the link down below in the description to get you some fresh Raiders gear from Fanatics. Now let's get back to the show. And what is going on? What is happening? What is the deal, man? With my Raider family, man. You are back for another episode here of the Raider Rundown, man. Like I always say, make sure you guys are tapping on that like button, on that subscribe button, man, for your regularly scheduled programming, man. Hit the buttons. We are very close to 3K, man. The goal is to try to get 3K before the season ends. We're very close to doing that, man. So appreciate everybody for tapping in. What's on the docket today, man? You already know what time it is, man. We're gonna be previewing the Browns game this Sunday, and at the same time going over a little bit of last week. And we're gonna also break it down for everybody why or why not Pete Carroll should stay at the end of the year, man. We're not going to do all this speculative. Like I said, man, when you're here for a rundown show, we're going to break it down, man. Find solutions. So that's what we're going to do today, man. We're going to get to the bottom of, is Pete Carroll doing all the core competencies necessary for a head coach, even in a losing season, to keep his job and continue on with what he's got going on? But before we do any of that fun stuff that we got going on, y'all know what the first segment of the show has to be, man. Let's go ahead and tap in with it. Real quick with a roll call, man. You already know what time it is. We're going to tap in with everybody that's tapping in with the chat and hollering at your boy, man. Y'all know the show don't move without y'all, so let's go ahead and get it cracking. Dominique, man, in the building, man. What's going on with you, big dog? Appreciate you for tapping in. Going to be a nice night tonight, man. We're going to go ahead and we're going to break it down. We're going to really get into it, right? Who should stay, who should not be staying, and really what's the deal with this team. What you think the over-under for Myles Garrett sacks on Sunday? Oh, man, I said 5 or 6, bro. 5 or 6. And I'm dead ass. I'm 5 or 6. That's where I'm at. My boy DJ, what's going on, man? I'm hoping you can find some sleep in these beautiful times that you got, man. I'm hoping that you can find just an ounce of sleep in there, man. But I know you over there having the ball, man. So hopefully you having the ball over there with your new addition to the family. Bloody Raider says Garrett is going to tie the record and get 7 sacks, and I fully believe that. I wholeheartedly would not be surprised if I saw him get 7 sacks. So I saw him get 7. It's there, bro. Dre for sure, man. What's going on, big dog? Appreciate you for tapping in, man. As always. And Bloody Raider, man. Appreciate you for tapping in these hard times as well, man. I know a lot of people check out. This channel would be much easier to get subscribers and all that extra. We were a good team, right? You can get all the bandwagon motherfuckers and all the extra. You can't even do that now. Can't even do none of that. We stuck, right? We all know we loyal to the team. We all know we real Raider fans because we here the 2-8 season. Still talking about this bullshit. So, here we are. But either way it goes, you know what I mean? We still rock. That's what we do. My boy Dre says, you telling me Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers are worse than that bullshit we seen on Monday? That's what they're trying to tell you. That's what they're trying to tell you. And how many times have I come out here, right? And we all know I've come out here and say, coaching staff think we stupid, right? Pete think we dumb. Fans ain't got no IQ of the game, right? Because you're going to come out here and tell us that what we saw on Thursday or whatever the fuck Monday night that we played, right, is exponentially better than what's on the bench that you drafted in the 3rd round. They think we're stupid, bro. They think we're stupid. And I've been saying this for weeks. You know what I mean? I just think now a lot of fans are like slowly realizing just how incompetent some of the shit sounds. But at the end of the day, we're going to get to that segment. Right? Because we have to give it a fair shake. There are some people that actually believe that Pete Carroll should get a second shot. Right? So we got to go ahead and give them a fair shake and really look at how we can keep Pete Carroll. Right? But before we do any of that, y'all know what it is, man. We got to go through all the news, the updates that done went on in the meantime since we played. Short week, right? As y'all know, short week coming off the game of the Cowboys. Didn't get to do a rundown yesterday that I really wanted to do, but had some things going on with the family, man. Had some things going on with baby rundown that I had to take care of. So had to be a family man. Would appreciate everybody in the chat for keeping me and Lady Rundown and Baby Rundown in their prayers. Nothing serious, but just had something going on. You know what I mean? So just keep us in your prayers. You already know. Appreciate y'all as always for the love. But we had some things going on. Wish I could have did a rundown, but we here now. And it's some news that we got to talk about. Of course, certain corners of the nation are very happy about certain things. So we're going to break it down in the form of Raider Reese's, man. And that's where we're going to talk about what's recently going on in the nation. So first up on the docket, right? Let's talk about it. You got Aiden O'Connell activated from the IR. What could this mean? Now, for everybody that is in here that might be Aiden O'Connell truthers and fans and all that, it's a lot of rejoice. Because, you feel that this dude could come in and be a savior of some sort, still have something. I look, I'll come and dash on anybody's dreams right now, bro. I hope anybody is still not thinking about this man as a franchise quarterback. Now, if your thought and process is to say like, hey, he's, at least going to be better than what we see with Geno and keep the offense rolling, then okay, maybe I can roll with that. But then I bring up this point. If you're on that train of saying, oh, he can look better than Geno and all that, but you're also on the train of saying you want a top 3 pick, you probably don't want Aiden O'Connell in there to keep it a bean with you. And that's not before we even get into the weeds and get to talking about all the football shit. Let's just keep it a bean. Aiden O'Connell is a terrible tank general. Terrible. We want a top 3 pick, correct? I mean, ain't that what we want? If we put Aiden O'Connell in there, he go fuck around and win a game he ain't supposed to, bro, because he's actually trying to win a job. You know what I mean? Actually trying to win some time. With Geno, bro, he comfortable right now. You feel what I'm saying? Look how Pete talking. Pete even saying he don't see no flaws in Geno game. Very minimal flaws. So if that's the case, Nah, bro, you got to keep it how it's going. You got to keep it how it's going. If you want a top 3 pick, you got to keep it how it's going. I don't want him to see no grass. Now, on the football side of it, just like Tyler is saying right here, we all understand this man would be a literal crash dummy back there, dog. Literal crash dummy. There's no way we can put him back there behind this offensive line and expect any type of success. Even Geno, he's at least helping with some mobility. I'm not saying it's great, but some mobility. Shit, Aiden has nothing. Zero zilch. So at this point, bro, I don't think we gain anything by making a switch from a quarterback. I don't think there's no gain at all. But there are people that are going to say, hey, this is a guy, you know what I mean? This is our guy. This is the franchise guy. If you still believe Aiden O'Connell is that guy, let us know down below why. Do you think, right here in the chat, do y'all think Aiden O'Connell will see any grass at some point during this season? Is that something that y'all believe? Let me know down below, man. Will AOC start at any point during this season? That is the big question for a lot of people in the nation. And just, because they are tired of seeing Geno, especially Mr. Put It All On Me. I've seen all the jokes and all that extra shit. But everybody's tired, right? Everybody's tired. So at that point, will he see time? Will he start at some point? For me, I definitely do not think Aiden O'Connell will see grass at some point during the season. No. The only way, and this is where I'm with you, Dominique. He's not benching Geno. That's one, right? Pete is not benching Geno. And two, the only way I see him getting in there, and hey, you can knock on wood, because even though, not everybody's favorite person, I'm not going to wish for no injury either. That's the only time I see AOC going in. That's it. That's it. Other than that, bro, it's going to be the Geno show. And Pete is not benching that man. You see the way he talks about him, even after the interception last week this Monday against the Dallas Cowboys. He still sat there and said he does not see any flaws in Geno's game. Very minimal flaws. That's what I'm saying. Pete ain't sugarcoating. Pete has never sugarcoated anything since he got here. Since he got here, he ain't sugarcoated shit. Now, certain things he'll sit there and blatantly lie, but when he feels strongly about something, he ain't gonna sugarcoat it. He gonna let his feelings known. He lets his feelings known, bro. Geno is going to be the guy for the remainder of the season. It's just gonna be the guy, and as long as Pete is here, Geno is probably gonna be a factor as well. As long as Pete is here, so I don't see AOC getting any starting reps at any point during the season. DJ says, not if Pete is still the head coach. AOC will continue to be a professional clip holder. Yep. Professional water getter. That's all he's going to be. Now, realistically, in the realistic sense, he's not, anything other than the backup anyway. But because what we're seeing is so terrible, we feel that he can give us a sparking chance. Which, again, if you're hoping for a top 3 pick, how much of a spark are you really trying to hope for? And there's that. So another little thing on the back that we got here. So that's AOC. Right? From IR, returner from injury. Everybody got happy. The savior. It's so goddamn bad. And what AOC did, it's so bad. It's so terrible, right? And we forget just how bad AOC looked. That's it. We just how bad he looked in the preseason. He looked like complete and utter ass. So it makes no sense, that now all of a sudden we're like, oh man, this is the guy. Like, it is what it is, bro. So moving on from that, another storyline that we're gonna have to go in this week, and it's a juicy one. Now we're gonna get all the football shit out the way, because the back half of the show, right? The back half of the show is where it's going to get very interesting. So don't go nowhere, right? If you know somebody that's not up in here, make sure you pull them up in here, man. But we are going to really break it down on the stories we've heard about this coaching staff, right? Some people that I trust personally, and that we look around and maybe the social media spectrums that have questioned certain things that have made good points. and of course the leaks, the rumors. And at the same time, we're going to go through our 5 core competencies of a head coach, even in a losing season. That even when you're losing, is that coach doing these things, right? So we're going to break it all down after that. So make sure you don't go nowhere for the second half of the show. I'm excited for that half. But for this half right here, right, and what we're talking about, football side of it, big storyline coming into it. Shedeur getting his first NFL action this Sunday against the Raiders. Ain't that shit poetic? I feel at some point during last draft season, I probably said once we didn't take him, like, he's probably gonna play against us. And lo and behold, this is where we're at. We're going to have to play Shedeur this Sunday. And am I saying that in a, oh my God, I hope we lose type of way? No, I'm never gonna hope that my team that I root for, that's my squad, that we lose because I'm trying to prove a point. Right? Because I'm trying to prove a point, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, oh man, I hope Shedeur does this, this, and that. I don't hope that he does. I don't hope shit. The problem is I don't have to hope anything. Our defense is so fucking horrid that any hope that I had that us stopping them is very, very nullified at that point, bro. He's probably going to have a good game. It's because we suck. It is what it is, bro. Like, I don't have to hope and sit here and do all this extra shit and be like, man, I hope Shedeur beats our ass so I can come out here and tell each one of y'all that was on my channel in the draft season, oh, told you. Don't have to do all that. Don't have to do all that. It's probably well known that and guess what? He's technically a backup quarterback too, because Dylan Gabriel was the starter, right? So the Raiders' history with backup quarterbacks, and the history when we're playing quarterbacks that we're supposed to make look bad, right? They're rookie quarterbacks and all that extra, and we're supposed to, make them look like rookies. We don't do those things. So probably going to come out here and have a nice day, right? So I'm going to save some of y'all, the headache and all the extra of hearing the shit that I'll speak on Sunday if he does have a good game. Now I can hear some of you now. Oh, it's the Raiders defense. We suck. So who cares what he did against us? He suck. Who cares what he did against us? Stop it. Because if he looks like ass on Sunday, there's going to be a lot of y'all coming up in here saying, well, Rundown, he looks terrible against us. I mean, he must be ass. It all both ways of the coin. All both ways of the coin. All I know is this. Regardless of how you felt, right? Regardless of how you felt, whether you actually watched Shedeur film, whether you've actually watched him play football, or you're just going on assumptions and shit you see on Twitter and all the extra, or Facebook for some of my older folk, right? If that's the shit you're going off of, so be it. But all we know is this. The way that Geno has played, and let me stop the damn music because I need some of y'all to hear this. The way Geno has played, the way the season has gone, and the way we look, ain't none of you can come out your mouths now and tell me that taking a flyer, the man was lasting until the 5th round. Taking a flyer on Shedeur Sanders wouldn't have been a smart move. Regardless of how you felt. Whether you were Twitter about it, that's all you go off of, or you actually watch the film and you have your opinion on him or not. It would have been a smart move regardless. Now, knowing what we know, we probably know why. And this is going to the back half of the show. Piece together why no actual quarterback competition was brought in here. Because guess what? If Shedeur was drafted, then and Geno is playing the way he's playing, 13 interceptions, you don't think a lot of the fan bases like throw him in? You don't think that's controversy right there? Right? So knowing what we know about this coaching staff and knowing what we know about our quarterback and our head coach right now, it's not really surprising why quarterback competition was not brought in. No, this is your guy. This is the guy. He don't need no comp, But knowing what we know now, that would have been the smart move, right? Knowing what we know now, to take a young quarterback, if the veteran struggles, to at least push him, right? Push the veteran quarterback to say, you can't really mess up here, sir. Because if you start messing up, we got the young buck on your heels. We don't even have that. We took fucking Cam Miller, right? And be real with yourselves. With no goddamn competition. From where? Who? Like, he was cut immediately.
Immediately when camp started, bro, man was cut and couldn't cut it. We took Tommy fucking Malott, though, right? Who's not even on the team right now. Rookies who don't play. Rookies who don't play. But yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, us that wanted Shedeur, we were fucking stupid, right? We wanted Shedeur for quarterback competition and to have a young one, but we were fucking dumb at the time. You know, that's why I don't listen to some like a lot of people that are in the chat though that do be watching, you know, the show and all the extra. You know, of course we can agree to disagree, but we have intelligent football conversation. I swear, outside of this, dog, like especially on Twitter and all the extra, I can't listen to some of y'all. I can't listen because you yourself don't know what the fuck you want or know what the fuck you talking about. So it's like, nah, bro, can't even do it. Can't even do it. So referral says, I want you to what? Oh man, bro. That is crazy. I'll be honest. I want Shedeur to play well, but still lose to us. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. As a Vikings fan, I'm so depressed. Why? You have a quarterback. You have a coach. You're not in our position, bro. Get up out of here with that. Yeah, no. I don't want to hear anything about Vikings fans being depressed because, to be honest with you, bro, y'all in a much better position than we are. We, as Raider fans, would gladly take your position. Gladly, right? Because you at least have a coach that'll make certain shit look competent, bro. Certain shit look competent. We don't have any competency whatsoever, right? Or any competency whatsoever. It's so sad, bro. Screaming at the TV to draft Sanders. Who knows, man? Who knows? Let me see. Go Broncos. You know what? I'm gonna let you have it. We can't even talk shit, bro. That's the sad part. We can't even talk shit the way we want to, the Broncos fans and all the extra, because this is where we at, bro. We suck. There's nothing we can say. I'm for them start them Sunday. I'm already cooked. Maybe. I ain't gonna cap. You might be cooked. They have one more win. Who are you talking about? The Vikings? Either way it goes, bro, we're about to fire our coach after this. We're about to fire our coach. And just last year, they were in the playoffs. Looking good. They made a quarterback change. It is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? All I know is I believe in the coach, though. I believe in the fact they can get talent. Right now, I don't know if I believe in anything we got going on, bro. I don't know if I believe in anything we got going on, to be honest. But either way, see, I see some people up in here that's trying to shoot right here. I don't ever pay attention to some of the trolls that be coming up in here, bro. Because honestly, number one, you helping me gain some traction. You helping the monetization. So you coming up in here with any trolling shit, you in the wrong area, dog. Nobody is ever gonna get mad at you trolling, dog. You helping my monetization. I'm just gonna ignore your ass. This is all I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? There be certain YouTubers I've seen before, you know what I'm saying, crash out, get all pissed, get all angry at people at the screen. Number one, I have zero idea who you are and probably will never meet you in my lifetime. I don't give a damn about what any people with no profile picture or who I don't speak to say about me, dog. It is what it is. But continuing on, bro. Pete better not F this up. We need a top 3 pick. See, that's the only thing that I'm hoping Pete continues that. But Pete is going to make sure we get that top 3 pick, bro. He's trying to win. He's trying to win, bro. He is trying to win. Your name is Pete? Pete? That's your name? All right. Well, you know, I wouldn't want to meet you either. You look like a fucking dweeb. Next. All right. Anyway, my boy DJ, man. He says, facts, Dominique. I was antsy with each pick, hoping the Raiders would draft him. Me too, bro. Y'all, I mean, you seen it, draft party, all the extra, bro. I was hoping that we took the flyer. Never did, man. Never did. But either way it goes, bro. It's how to cook the It's how to cook the now, next storyline that we're gonna get into. And I'm just gonna put it plain, bro. I'm just gonna put it plain because this is a conversation that a lot of people are having, but this is a conversation that we've had on this show multiple times, right? So you've seen now, I'm not getting mad. This is just a fact in the statement. You look like a fucking dweeb. It's a fact. So I'm not gonna fight. That is no speculation, no innuendo. It's just what you look like to me. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But either way, right? There is a story, right, that a lot of people have talked about when it comes to our 6th overall pick. You hear Shannon Sharp on his show, right, talk about some of the things. You hear First Take, all the national sports media, right, that have takes about our 6th overall pick. And this is basically it. Waste of a 6th overall. Waste of a 6th overall is what people are telling us. This is what people are saying. Now, I'm not going to, now this is saying it bluntly. But realistically, what people are saying is that we did not use our 6th overall pick correctly. This is what people are saying, right? This is the talk. This is not rundown talk. This is not me coming out here saying that Genty is all this. This is because honestly, when it comes to Genty and to talk about that on this channel, we done talked about that shit for a lifetime, bro. A lifetime when it comes to Ashton Genty and what he is, what he can be, and all the extra. We didn't said that, right? So for me, I'm sitting here saying that one, people are funny because even with Shannon Sharp and all that, when Genty was drafted, all they did was kiss ass and ride nuts about how good he was and how generational he could be. Right. So I don't hear all that shit now when it comes to this shit now. I listen more to the people that start to say, like, yeah, he don't have no offensive line. He can't really do shit. Right. And I respect that. We've said it on this channel multiple times. If you were expecting us to be drafting a LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, a Barry Sanders, that's on you. That's on you. Because he was never that. He was never that. Right? And this is not me saying that because this is the season and this is the season unfolding before our eyes. Go back to the draft. Go back to the draft. And in a world where everybody will screenshot or screen record things to prove a point, I implore anybody to go back and screen record or screenshot what I was saying about Ashton Genty during the draft. Implore you. Because these are all things we've said before. He's a good running back. He is a good running back. That is not disrespectful to say that. But he is not Adrian Peterson. He is not fucking LaDainian Tomlinson, bro. He's not. He's never been. Not in college, not now. Right? He is a very good running back, right? He's just not one of those running backs that can overcome a shitty offensive line circumstance. That's it, bro. That's it. He just can't. He's not that guy. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a disrespectful sense, right? When you draft a running back overall, you're expecting to get Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, all the good works and extras, right? That's just even the Saquon Barkley. This is not the caliber of running back that he is. It's not. No. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we do get an offensive line, and when we do have these pieces around him, he'll be able to flourish more. He'll be able to thrive more. And now we'll be able to, and then you'll mark my words, you'll see people starting to put him in the top 5 running back conversation and all that other shit when the talent in the offensive line gets better. Mark my words. You're going to see people do that. But as for right now, he's just not good enough to overcome that circumstance. Now, are you going to say waste of a 6 overall in a blunt sense? No, it's not a waste of a 6 overall, right? Because you stack the talent. But do I still to this day disagree with the picking of him? Yes, I do. 100%. I stand by the fact that you should have drafted Membu Maybe Kelvin Banks, if that's how you really wanted to go. At the time, he wasn't on my radar. Looking at how he's playing now for the Saints, would have been a great ass pick. But if that's the way and route that you wanted to go, you could have very well drafted a goddamn running back in the second round. There's multiple running backs that got drafted in the second round that are doing very well for their teams, right? Could have drafted a tackle and got a running back in the second round. I stand by that. But, you know, again, when it comes to this, we don't cry over spilled milk. He's here. You stack that talent. Now you understand that if the front office, which is Spy Tech, if you don't build an offensive line around this man and start that shit this offseason, you have failed him. And you have now it's a waste of a 6 overall, right? If Spy Tech doesn't start building this line after this season, bro, now you can start getting to it is a waste category because what the fuck are you taking a running back for and not building the offensive line, right? Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense. So, you know, here we are. So, Geno Smith is trash. 100%. 100%. Damn, I ain't heard that name in a minute. Hold on, let me make sure I'm correct. Chargers, right? That's the one that played for the Chargers? Or am I tweaking? He played for he did play for the Chargers, bro. That is a name I haven't heard of in a while. And honestly, not a name I want to hear for my 6th overall running back, to be honest with you. Fuck, you took me in a time machine with that one. Hey, good shit, Myles. Appreciate that, man. I always love good running back speak. Those names that we're talking about now, generational running backs, right? We can draft the second coming of Peyton Manning, but if we don't have the coaches to develop the young talent, what's the point? P-Lo, talk that shit, man. Break it down, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we have to have the coaches to develop the talent. We have to have the coaches to develop the talent. Beth Andrews, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for tapping in. I see you're an Eagles fan. My homie is an Eagles fan, man. One of my best friends is an Eagles fan. So always love on that side. And y'all whoop the Chiefs ass every time y'all play. So I can't be mad at y'all, man. Y'all do y'all thing. We appreciate y'all. Let me see, man. Ashton Genty is slow. Look here. We never knew his 40 time either. We never knew his draft 40 times. So I don't even know what the fuck it is. So I can't even say that. But you know, it's just you're expecting all this extra from him. That's, you know, shame on you. You know, shame on you. Because at the end of the day, we knew we couldn't even take a running back to begin with. Don't even fucking matter. We couldn't even take a running back. We're just not in that position. Not in that position. Hot take. Tyree Wilson could be good if he got a shot. Shot where? shot where? You talking about like tequila, Hennessy, like some of that shit? Maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe. Like if they gave him some of that in the locker room before the game, it might wake him up a little bit. Might light a fire under his ass or something like that. I'm with you. No, you're right. You're right. If he got a shot and shit before the game, bro, he might actually be right. You're right. Pete. That's the problem. Now talk to it. Build. Yep. Build it and they will come. Don't matter who drafted him. If we get a quality first round QB, coaches will line up for the job. Which is why, just like Bloody Raider is saying, coaches are going to probably line up for that Tennessee job before they come to this job. Right? It's already a motherfucker there that is showing traits on film that are tangible, and you can say, all right, bro, like I gotta work with that. You know, I want to go there, work with him. You know what I mean? That's what Liam Cohen did. Now, it's not necessarily Mike Vrabel, but he went over there because he had Drake May and he can get an offense coordinator to work with that, right? So all these guys do. That's why Jim Harbaugh chose the Chargers, right? That's what all these guys do. We got to get the quarterback. Now, about that time, right? Now, for the second half of the show, man, ladies and gents, we're about to go over why I think Pete Carroll is one and done. Pete is one and done when it comes to this season, man. I don't think Pete comes back. I think Pete is one and done, and I think after this year, we're going to be finding a new coach. Now, there are some people that disagree with this comment. Some people disagree with this comment. Now, we're going to go on both spectrums, right? Let's start with the positive side on maybe why we should keep Pete Carroll. If there's some people up in here that want to do that, sure. I'm being real subjective too. Only positive that I can see for keeping Pete Carroll is continuity, continuation. That's one, right? Continuation, keeping the same voice and the same coach. That's it, right? But honestly though, that's the only thing that I feel. What else is positive to hold on to? You know what I mean? I'm really trying to see the positives on what we can hold on, how we can keep Pete Carroll and what he's done. And when I ask these questions, right? When I ask these questions, I get a lot of crickets, man. I get a lot of crickets, and it worries me. It worries me because it's like if you're for the people that want to hold on to the coach and you just can't immediately rattle off to me some positives why he should be kept, then what are we doing? You know what I mean? Then what are we doing? Now, I'm going to show something for my guy Mo, man, who has been on the show multiple times, man. My guy Mo. And if you are not following my guy Mo Martin on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing, man. Because when it comes to reading tea leaves about the Raiders, really highlighting certain things that the Raiders might be doing wrong or could be doing better. You know what I mean? He is really on top of it. But check here. This is a long post, but we'll read it together because I think this is very relevant information. Now, this information that I'm about to go on and the tangent I'm about to go on, right? And then we're going to open it up for comments. We're going to open it up for everything after this tangent. This is why I think Pete is one and done, why he needs to be fired, and why ultimately I think we'll be better off if we can just get a new coach after this year. Okay? Now let's start off with my guy Mo, right? This reads, long post, but stay with me. In Seattle, Pete Carroll came in with John Schneider, and Schneider grew with valuable experience as an exec. I'm sure he pushed back on Pete with things and had solid pull over the years. In the Raiders situation, I don't think Pete gets much pushback based on the roster moves. GMs want to see their young players develop. Spytech, who's a first-year GM, isn't seeing much of that with a 2-8 team, which is ridiculous. Correct on all fronts, right? How much pushback do you feel that Pete is getting, right? How much pushback do you think he's getting? Next up, we read, excluding Tom Brady, who's basically a consultant, no one has the resume. Let's read that again. Excluding Tom Brady, who's basically a consultant at the moment, which is true. No one in that building has the resume, not Spytech, not even Chip Kelly, not PG, right? Not his sons, has the resume to check Pete on questionable or bad decisions or tell him his son isn't the fit for an O-line coach and run coordinator jobs. Right? So continuing on, Pete's influencing the offense too, right? As he said Monday night after the game, it's a poor balance of the decision-making process. No disrespect to Mark Davis, but this is why you need a football mind calling the shots to see the flaws in the dynamic/power structure. 100% on all fronts, right? So you read that, a lot of that to me makes a lot of sense. Decision-making. A lot of things that go on, it has Pete's stench on it. It does, right? And then when you look on the season, on the 2-8 season, you see that there are veteran players playing in spots that rookies should probably be playing in, right? And not only are the veteran players playing, they're struggling. The veterans are struggling. And the refusal to play the younger players, that points to the head coach, right? That points to the head coach. I've said it all along. I don't agree with the people that always say it's, oh, man, Spytech didn't do this, and this for the roster. This is why we look like that. Disagree. Why I disagree is because Spytech knew, and this I fully believe this, Spytech knew this is a long rebuild. This shit ain't gonna happen in one offseason. We need a length of time. Spytech drafted for about 3-4 years, and that's the plan, right? We're gonna get developmental guys. We're gonna get guys that we can work with, right? That might need some seasoning, but we'll go there. We'll spend cheap contracts. Why? Because we're not ready to spend money on a player like Christian Wilkins or Devontae Adams. Why? Because when they get here, they understand it's not a winning culture yet. It's not a winning organization. So when they do get here, and ultimately they understand that, Jermaine Pratt, they understand that they've been duped and they want to fucking leave. Right? So there's that. Okay, so there's that. Again, we have to preface this by saying we are trying to find things that maybe can help other people's cases. Why Pete should be kept. But, you know, we're going to go along this line. So there's blame all around, and I see a lot of finger pointing happening when it comes to just the Raiders organization in general, and the nation. Okay. There was a report long ago. Remember, I think it was 3-4 games ago, you saw Geno throw an interception, and, you know, an article comes out that Dante Thornton runs the wrong route, do something, right? Interesting, right? Interesting. For Monday night, you see a report an hour before the game come out that Caleb Rogers was supposed to start, but he had a shitty week of practice, and that's why Will Putnam and Jordan Meredith got to start. But then watching what the fuck we saw, right? Like, how are you going to tell me that's any worse? See, this is what I'm saying. Okay, now put the tea leaves together, y'all. Put the tea leaves. Another one from my guy Mo. Check this out. Last month, and this was when the Raiders. This is from Brock Bowers, right? This is from October 5th, and it got me thinking all the way back then. Those stories that we just named, okay? Dante Thornton story, okay, right? You start talking about that. Then there's the motherfucking story about Caleb Rogers that leaks immediately. Fishy, right? Now, Mo even puts the spotlight on this. I wasn't even thinking about this till today. Last month, the Raiders, likely coaches, basically put the blame on the player for playing through an injury when he should have been resting. And you get to thinking about it, right? You look at it, what this report says. Read it. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers has been playing through a PCL injury and a bone bruise in his knee that has impacted his performance. Per sources, doctors have said the only way to recover from the knee injury is to rest, which Bowers has been unwilling to do. You read that, right? And this is from Adam Schefter, who says per source, meaning it's a motherfucker within the organization, right? Boom. This is coaching regime's attempts to damage control are easy to see through. This coaching staff continue again. How many times do I say it to y'all? They think y'all fucking stupid. They think we're fucking stupid because they'll continue to come out here and say these things, right? So you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me that's the player's fault for wanting to fucking play? You know, like it's like I can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. It's the player's fault for wanting to fucking play and do their job. It's not the coach who should ultimately be thinking of these decisions and say, yeah, you know what? I know you want to play, son. I know where your heart's at, but sit on down for me. Sit on down for me because we need you later. No, but it's the player's fault. All right, anyway, you know, continuing on that, right, for everybody. And again, I'm waiting for somebody to come up in here. And you can, again, once we're done, I want you to come in here and tell me, yeah, I see what you're saying. I still think these are the positives why we should keep Pete. Still waiting, right? So off of all that, that's already ugly, right? Guess who was leaking shit, okay, before he was ultimately fired? Let's play a Raider trivia game, y'all. What Raider coach was leaking information to the media about players not being smart enough to get their system, or just players not performing at a level, right, to kind of save their own ass, but ultimately got fired anyway. Does anybody know what coach was doing that type of shit that we just saw right here previous to Pete? It's a coach that everybody hates and definitely wanted to fire. It's a coach that we even went up to Mark Davis's suite and asked this man to fire him. Ding, ding, ding. Josh McDaniels was another coach that I remember that used to leak information about players not being able to grasp the system, not being able to perform at a thing, to kind of save his own ass from saying, hey, don't look at me, it's the players. Hey, don't look at me, it's this coach. Josh McDaniels did that. Oh, we hated him. And we hated him. But Pete needs time. Okay? Pete needs time. So, continuing on, right? Continuing on, another factor why I believe Pete needs to be done. These moves that he's made, right? These moves that he has made, you can tell he's trying to win. He's actually trying. Now, I'm not going to sit there. Now, we're not making fun of him for being like, oh, ha, you're trying. But this is the thing. You have to understand when to cut your losses, right? We all have to understand that. He is spinning his wheels. You got Tyler Lockett. You got all these things. And I want y'all to really understand the only time he don't lie is when he's frustrated. And he come out here and he's frustrated about something. How many weeks have you heard Pete say, I don't understand how this outcome has happened? I don't understand how this outcome has come about. How many weeks have you heard Pete say, oh, man, I just, I'm at a loss for words on how this outcome could happen. We had a good week of practice. We had this. We had that. How could this happen? How many times have you heard it this year? He's dead ass. You think he's fucking, that's one thing he's not lying to y'all about. He's dead ass. He don't know. He's serious. He's done said it multiple fucking times. He is serious. He don't know what's going on, bro. He has no idea why they're getting blown out like this. He feels they're having good weeks of practice. He feels that they are doing the correct preparation. And if he feels that they're doing the correct preparation, and we basically got 4 games where we could have been blown out with 40 points scored by the other opposing team. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You're actually trying. You honestly don't know what's going on, right? And this is the best game plan, the best practice you feel that you can have, and we're still getting our ass whooped by 30 plus. So, but again, he needs more time, right? Fuck are we doing? Fuck are we doing? It like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Let's keep it a bean. Shit don't make no sense. There's multiple things we can go on. But, right, to end it off, we are going, because we barely even talked about the Browns game, but we're going to talk about, because really, realistically, bro, it makes no sense to preview games anymore. It really don't. It makes no sense to preview games anymore, because at this point, like, I'm not going to say I hope we lose, but I'm not sitting here fucking like, I want a top 3 pick. You know what I mean? I want a top 3 pick. So if we look good, you know what I mean? So be it, whatever the case. And I'm not going to sit up here and be pissed that we won. But if we lose, I'm not going to be pissed that we lost either. Am I pissed at the way we look? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? I'm not, I feel like I'm not going to be mad no more the rest of this year because we're not on prime time, right? I was bored. I was coming out here on Monday hot and mad because we're on prime time, national television. Motherfuckers is watching us. We get all the jokes and all the shit. Now that we get to be hid by the schedule, it's going to be pretty much, smooth sailing for the rest of the year. But now, last bit of thing that we'll go over, right? That we'll kind of go over why Pete is one and done. And I call them the 5 cores, right? The core competencies, okay? I even used ChatGPT. I did my research. And I came up with the 5 most important core competencies for a head coach, even in a losing season, that if he is doing these things, at least maybe 3 out of the 5, you could say, yes, we keep him, right? Yes, we keep him. This is a coach that we continue to go on. So first core, player development must be clear and visible. Even if the team is losing, the coach must show the willingness and improvement of young players, draft picks, right? And fundamentals, right? At least establishing these things with young core, finding core young players and developing these players. That's the first one. Is that happening? Right? Is that happening? So player development, right? So that is the first core. Number one, is this happening? Is Pete developing these players, right? And is Pete actually getting these players better, right? That would be the one. So for me, I think we all know the answer to that question. No. No, there's no player development. Actually, players have gotten worse, right? Players have gotten worse since being here. So there's that. I mean, and y'all continue to let me know down below, man. Let me know the answers to these too. I don't want to just answer it by myself. Hold on. I gotta write this down. You know, I gotta write this down. Okay, cool. Boom. So y'all let me know down below. Okay, so yes or no for player development. Okay, I'm seeing a lot. Facts. Nope. Yep. Okay, so second one, right? The second core competency that a coach, I believe, needs. So first was player development. Second, locker room belief. Does it look like the team still believes? Simple. That's simple. Because in a losing season, as a head coach anyway, that's your job. Garner the belief. That's your job, bro. You're leading 32, or not 32, but 54 paid grown-ass men, right? 54, sometimes 53, really. But you're leading grown-ass men who are getting paid, bro. You have to have belief. Does it look like the players are still fighting? Does it look like the players are still bought in? That's y'all let me know, right? Does it look like the players are still bought in? Is there public frustration? Is there finger pointing going on within the organization, right? Do you see division happening within the squad? Is all these things happening? I would say those things are happening, and I would say the locker room belief is dwindling, right? There's finger pointing. Don't look like motherfuckers is bought in. Really don't. After a mistake or something happens, bro, we fall apart. So right now we're 0 for 2 on our cores, right? We are 0 for 2 on our cores. Remember, 3 out of 5, to me, you skate by, right? 3 out of 5 cores, you skate by, but we're 0 for 2 already, dog. And this is an experienced coach. This is not a first-time head coach, but we're 0 for 2. Next, third, competency. That I feel that this one right here, right? I feel that this one right here is one of the most important ones. I feel like it's second most important, because one of the last ones I feel like is more important than this one. But hold on. All right, cool. Third one would be, is there a clear culture from the head coach? Is there a clear culture from Pete Carroll and what we have? Now, for the last one where you say locker room belief, there's a lot of F no's. Nope. Interesting, right? Now, A says Pete hasn't been here to develop the team and the talent has been trash. Okay, we're going to stop this, because again, we need the positives and we need people arguing for Pete's side. Ace, what do you mean by Pete hasn't been here to develop the team? Has he not been here this whole time? Who's been coaching them? Who selected these draft picks? Who had a say? Who had a say in all these free agents? Who brought the quarterback here? So I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And so as far as like rookies that get drafted, are they just like not supposed to get better? They're like, you're not supposed to do anything with them, this first year. It's crazy. I see a lot of other teams and shit They have their rookies play and play well. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, what I need to know that. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Now, this is the third. Is the culture clear? Right. So we're talking about that. We're talking about Pete hasn't been here to develop the team. But realistically, this is the second most important one to me. Because one, a coach needs to have a culture anyway. But two, what was Pete really brought in here to do? Let's not forget the main topic of Pete's job, right? Because I didn't think he was going to take us to, I didn't think that he was going to take us to the playoffs year one. Never thought that. Never once. But what I did think was he was going to set a culture. I did think Pete was going to come in here and at least set a floor and set a precedent and a standard, right? I at least thought that was going to happen. Okay? I'm not sitting here saying playoffs, but it's like, come on, dog. You know what I mean? Come on, dog. We need some type of culture, some type of something, right? To hold on to and to gravitate to say, okay, fine, we're losing, but we can hold on to these cores in this shit right here to take us into next year, right? Next year. Ace, you digging your own grave, big dog. You digging your own grave. He was brought here to evaluate talent, and that didn't happen overnight. If he was brought here to evaluate talent, tell me why Blue Kelly's still seeing snaps. If that's the case, let me know. If he was brought here to evaluate talent, tell me why he put Will Putnam in and he put Jordan Meredith at guard before even seeing a snap of JPJ and Jordan Meredith in that combo that we saw last year. I mean, but you said he was brought here to evaluate talent. It's not like he didn't just get here in fucking September. He didn't get here in September. He actually said he was watching film of this team, correct? We're talking about evaluating talent. Why do we, if he was brought here to evaluate talent, why is our second round pick not seeing any grass? Why is our third round pick healthy scratches? It's him. That's what you mean, bro. Like you digging your grave, Big G. You digging your own grave. None of you saying is not making sense. If Pete is here to evaluate talent, why isn't he the GM? See, look, and then this the next thing, bro. This the next thing. The whole thing is we have a first-time GM, and really, I'm more mad at SpyTech for not speaking up, right? Speaking up for himself and talking, because that's on him for me, bro. SpyTech, that's on you, bro. You got to talk. This is your first job. You got to check nuts, bro, and tell Pete that he can't do everything that he wants to do. But Mo just broke it down for us very politely, very plain, bro. Nobody has that resume up in there to check Pete on what he can and cannot do. Nobody. It's free reign up in there, dog. Free reign. Mark don't make it clear on whose job is whose. So at this point, bro, nobody's checking us. Nobody's saying anything. So for me, they're just going off, okay, well, Pete got the highest resume, so we're just going to listen to Pete. Right? There you go, bro. I don't know. And that's the problem, bro. We're just defaulting to Pete because he has the biggest resume and he accomplished the most. When realistically, we're not really looking at the moves he's making and the people that he's bringing in and letting go and saying, what are we doing? What are we doing? Jermaine Pratt, right? We still don't know what the fuck went on with that. Still don't know. It took Gruden 3 years to get us back. Big dog, this man has a 3-year contract. He's 74. And guess what? I would be all with you, Ace. Ace, I'd be all with you. If your coach didn't come out here and tell us that he's won 10 games his whole career and he's going to win a bunch of games. He came out here and he said at the beginning of the season, we're going to win a bunch of games. Nobody said that. Nobody told him to say that. Nobody told Pete to come out here and say nothing about no fucking 10 wins and all the extra. He voluntarily said that. You want to know why, Ace? Because he wholeheartedly believes that. He wholeheartedly believed he could have got 10 wins with the squad and the direction that he was doing, which should tell you something. But we'll continue. Every coach that comes in here seems to be the belief that they're above the GM. Thank you, LS. It's Mark. That is on Mark for not setting the hierarchy, but this is the problem, bro. Every coach comes here and not really working with the GM. That's the problem. So, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick. Is the culture clear? Is there a clear culture? Because look, Ace, even if what you're arguing to me is true, right, about he needs time and all that extra, but guess what? Even with Gruden and all the shit that we dealt with that first year, the second year, because we were asked that first and second year, there's the culture. You could see it though, right? You could feel it. You could feel it. Even, I don't give a damn what most of y'all say, even with last year, you could have felt something. Just a little something with AP. You feel a little something. What are we? What's the identity? What's the culture? I don't feel it. I don't see it. Right? Titus Green says it's like when you got to take the car keys away from Pawpaw. Yep. Like, hey, dog, you know, I got to do it with my grandma. I had to do it with my grandma this year. Right? Sad reality. You can't fucking drive no more. Right? You drive, and I'm going to be getting a call somewhere that somebody car and got dented up and hit up and shit. Right? Can't do that. Right? So your keys are revoked. You can't drive no more. This is what they should have did with him and all this GM prowess. Right? He shouldn't be getting all this. But even if what Ace is starting to argue to me, and a lot of people argue to me that the time is needed and all that extra, at least a culture is being set, an identity is established, right? We're a running team. We're a physical team. We're going to lean on this defense. We're going to lean on these things, right? What is our identity? I need to know it. I don't know. Maybe somebody smarter than me could tell me. You know, maybe somebody smarter than me, smarter than moi. I don't see an identity of this team. You know, we were supposed to be a running team, right? We were supposed to be a smash mouth team, but our 6th overall pick got 6 carries. So it's not that. Right? It's not that. You know, hopefully we thought after the first game we were going to be air raid, maybe. We 32nd in the fucking league in passing yards per game. It's not that. Right? It's not that. You know, maybe defense. Pete Carroll, you know, he works with the secondary, and PG's back for his 4th year. Maybe defense. We lean on that. We done gave up 40 points, damn near 40 points a game 4 times. It ain't that. So I don't know what it is. Maybe a red zone defense, right? Because Pete Carroll's teams and defenses are always good in the red zone. Bottom in the league in red zone in that. We have no identity, bro. It's nothing that you can lean your hat on and say that we can build this for next year. Zero zilch. And if you're saying something, you're lying. You're lying. At the top of my head, I can't even think of anything off the top of my fucking head. So it's like, come on, bro. You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? P-Lo says it's a nepotism culture. Pete's kids have no business coaching the line and running it. Nah, fuck no. Hell no. DJ says they gave a 74-year-old coach too much power over the organization. That's a sign of a weak and fragile organization. Correct, bro. Oscar says Pete has to go. Yep. Dre, he did win a bunch of football games. He didn't win a bunch of games. He didn't say football games though. Real talk though. Real talk. So Ace says, don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy with the Pete pick because he's got a few years left. Why wouldn't pick someone younger, but he's here now, so we're just gonna start again with someone new? Yes, because this is why, man. Ace, and I've said it all the time, bro. Like, we've never had these 3 things align: coach opening, a top 3 pick, and top 3 in salary cap space. Now, I say never because I'm only 27 years old, and a lot of that old shit that happened don't count for me. So it is what it is. But as far as in my fandom, right, and what I know, those 3 things do not align for us all the time. We have a chance for them 3 things to align, right? And usually the teams and organizations that get the good coaches in those cycles have those 3 things that align. So there it is, right? Now, look here, bro. This is what I want people to really, really hone in on. We're talking about 5 core competencies competencies for a head coach. We're 0 for 3. 0 for 3. We don't have none. None. There's no player development. Minimal locker room belief. Right? Minimal locker room belief. The culture is not clear. The culture is definitely not clear. Fourth one, we know for shit sure this is definitely not happening. Must be competitive. Fuck no. Right? So there's no on that. We're 0 for 4. We are 0 for 4. In any sport, 0 for 4 gets your ass looked at sideways. Except maybe baseball. But even that, you might have to hit 1 out of the 4. Like something. You feel what I'm saying? So no player development. No locker room, minimal locker room belief. The culture is definitely not clear. We are definitely not fucking competitive. Right? We are definitely not fucking competitive. That is the fourth competency, and I'm pretty sure that all of us can agree that we are not competitive in any of these games. Right now, there's a couple that we can point to and be like, we did good here and we did good there, but they're sparse and sparingly in spots. Right? We know that for sure. The last thing, hold on. Yep. The last thing that I'm going to put over here, because I think this is the one we got to focus on. And I think this comes for every successful coach. This comes from every successful organization as well. When you look around, this is what it needs to be successful. Front office alignment. Front office alignment. Is there front office alignment with your head coach? Is there synergy between the GM and head coach? Look around the league. Look around. Any good squad has this right here. I take the Rams, right? You take the Rams because right now they're one of the best run organizations. You look at the Eagles. Look at that. Look at the synergy. Look at how the jobs are being distributed. Look at how people are doing their jobs, right? So every successful NFL team in the league right now, even some, we can even look in our fucking division. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs. When you look at their GM and Andy Reid, how that relationship cultivated championships and how they were doing their things. Look at the Bills, where they're getting down, right? So this is a must. Doesn't matter. You look around all 32 teams, bro. This shit is a constant. It's a constant. And then you look around at our 20 plus years of history. This is a constant not happening. It's just not happening for us. So when you see that the teams that are successful and they are doing things, doing this very thing, and you get to understanding that in our 20 plus years of history, over the last 20 years, we have not done this very thing, it's very easy to see why we are not one of the better organizations in the league. Now, keep in mind with you, Ace, I think that when we start to say something about Pete Carroll, right, I think a lot of us are losing track of the most important thing. The most important thing. Because I know a lot of us get to panicking because we're like, oh, shit, another head coach. Oh, man, more. You know what I mean? Who's going to want to come here or whatever the case, right? We hate finding more coaches and doing all these things. I understand that. We get the Raider PTSD, as I like to call it. But I think this is the most important thing that we got to focus on. This shit right here. This is the most important piece of news as a Raider fan that should give you some hope. Why? Now, some of you shouldn't like, and some of you don't like John Spytek. I understand. Okay, whatever. We're 2-8, and why this gives me hope is because if he stays, the vision and the culture can still be established, right? Now, the vision is this motherfucker right here, right? There's some of the vision. Once the vision is now passed on, the coach takes that vision and turns that shit into culture, right? And right now, we don't have that alignment to say, hey, I got this vision, bro. This is what I think this team can do. This is what I think we can be in the future. But right now, it's cloudy. We don't have that. Okay, I got you. He's not taking that vision and turning that shit into culture. He's listening and saying, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Right? This right here is more important than Pete being kept or fired. If Spy Tech stays, that is a step in the right direction for an organization that we haven't done this shit in a very long time. Because usually we're trying to find both, right? And I think the main reason on why I think we're always spinning our wheels because we never have a GM, right? The GM is the really most important thing to say, like, he has to build the team. You look around the league, there are certain coaches or GMs that have been through some coaches. You know what I'm saying? Certain GMs have been through some coaches and shit, hired some coaches, fired some coaches, did all that. We're always having first-time guys and first-time this. I mean, shit, maybe it's time to keep the GM, right? Oh, my God. Shout out to my guy, DJ, man, in the building, man. Says, for a $10 holla, appreciate you, big dog. Says, rundown, how would you rebuild the Raiders roster from scratch? Prioritizing in which order positions from address from first to last. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You know what, DJ? I'm going to give you a preview. Bro, because guess what? This is a show that I'm working on for us a little closer to the end of the season once the draft order is a little more set. I'm working on this show because I want to have a whole full hour deep dive live on each position group and speak on how we going to fix this. But I'm going to give y'all some short, intermediate, whatever, and we'll talk about it in depth more. First and foremost, we need a top 3 pick. That's mandatory. So in my assessment, we have a top 3 pick, right? You know what I'm saying? Definitely firing Pete. I got some coaches on the list. So you know how I break it down. We got to go step by step, man. So we're going to go through coaches that I already have, like a nice little list. I'm compiling the list right now. We're going to go through the coaches, right? Once we do that, boom, we're going to go through our little depth chart, but we're going to find a nice little coach. After we do that, I got, some players in free agency to grab, right? You feel what I'm saying? Y'all already know one. I'll give y'all one. George Pickens already is on my list. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. I don't care. I had a small disagreement with my guy Chris because he didn't like some of the Steelers things that went on there. He had no problems here with the Cowboys. I don't know what it is with Pittsburgh. Something in the water over there with receivers that makes the motherfuckers go crazy. I don't know what it is, but he's had no problems with the boys. Y'all just see what he did on Monday night. He's been doing that shit all season, right? We need a receiver. We need a receiver, bro. A guy like that to go with Brock Bowers, dirty work, right? Dirty work. So I'm definitely spending money on that. When it comes to the offensive line, bro, I'm finding the best offensive lineman I can in the free agency. Try to get them to come here. You know what I mean? See what I can do there. I don't want to bargain shop when it comes to the offense and defensive line. Can't do that. Now in the draft, if we got a top 3 pick, you know where I'm going, dog. You know what time it is. We're not going to prolong this shit any further, right? We're going to get a quarterback. Not only because it's time to finally invest in that position, but at the same time, money-wise, thinking long-term, we're always strapped and tied down to these big-ass veteran quarterback contracts because we're trying to get the next fucking Gannon and all the extra. No more, right? We're not doing that no more. We never think about this, but having a rookie on that rookie quarterback contract gives us flexibility for more free agent roster moves. Instead of saying, fuck, we got to pay Geno Smith $40-something million here, and now we're still fuck all that. You know what I mean? So keep him. Now, some of y'all might not like to hear this. I'm keeping Geno Smith, though. Keeping Geno Smith just for the training camp. Why am I doing that? Because unlike our current coach, I'm all about competition. Not only is Geno a person that's probably going to want to prove himself, right, to the organization, but after a shitty year like this, but you just drafted a quarterback and you basically said, we don't believe in you no further, guy. So he's going to be in training camp throwing with some shit to prove. And against my newly drafted quarterback, yeah, let me see. I'm gonna open this shit up. I want to see how good you are. I want to see where you're at. And if you can beat a veteran Geno Smith, who is actually, trying to prove some shit and bounce back and all the extra, I know you're ready. Then we go into that. Now, that's just a piece. Just a piece. Defense is its whole other thing, dog, because when it comes to defense, oh, my God. We're going to have to build that bitch from the ground up. You feel what I'm saying? Ground up. And the draft really is probably where we're going to have to do it at. That's the shitty part, right, about where we are as a team, because we need so many pieces, but we need the main piece, which is the quarterback, right? So if you spend that top 3 pick on the quarterback, you know, you're then handicapped for the rest of the draft to say you need to get defensive players because we don't have no defensive talent, right? So, I mean, but this is the deep dive we're going to go through, bro. Trust me. Look, I got a whole bunch of shit planned. I've started, like I said a couple nights ago. I've honed in, bro. I'm trying to be the best Raider YouTuber on this motherfucker, bro. I've already made my mind up. It is what it is. So not only that, but trying to make this a real thing. So we got this. We're going to have our big show. I'm going to try to figure out to do some gaming, bro. I ain't going to cap. Because I've been seeing people do the little Madden rebuilds and franchises. I like that. You know what I mean? That might be a little cool if we can do a little Madden rebuild rundown franchise on this mug. Go by it week to week. You know what I mean? Really build, get y'all input and all the extra. That should be fine. So I'm trying to figure out how to set that up, of course, and do all that extra. So that, to me, man, look, hey, that's the 5 core competencies. I know that's a long rant and all the extra. I'm over here losing my motherfucking train of thought. That's how you know, hey, I had a long ass night yesterday, y'all. Like I said, you know, dealing with baby rundown, bro. Your boy had a long ass night. I'm just sitting on motherfucking damn near 2 hours of sleep. You feel what I'm saying? But don't matter. We coming out here and we doing work. Either way, appreciate everybody for hopping in here. But that's our 5 core competencies and our rant about the core competencies. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed that. You know what I mean? If you agree, you know, you already know why we got to fire Pete. If you disagree, obviously, respectfully, you know what I mean? I would like to see why you disagree and why we can talk about these things. Now, we're going to get ready to end this thing on out here. And y'all already know, man, the best way that we can end this thing out is... Man, it's the rundown, man. That's where we break it all down, put a nice little silver and black bow on the show. And at the same time, man, you know, break down what we're going to see on Sunday before we really get angry and all that. Now, appreciate, hold up, Rosetown in the building. He says the top 5 pick, we will get Reese, Downs, Mendoza, Simpson, Moore can be there. Look at, you see this list? That's why we need a top 5 pick. It's so beautiful. Can be there for us, and these old linemen. It will depend on what we do this offseason, who we hire. Correct, bro. You see, these players and names and having the top 5 pick and this money is why we need a coach and with vision, right? A coach that can understand the GM's vision. We just talked about it. A coach that can understand the GM's vision and at the same time disseminate that into culture, right? So that is a main reason why I think we need to move on from Pete, bro. I don't think that's aligned. And this is very important. This is, you know, this is a crossroad that we're at as an organization. Crossroad. Because if we fuck this up right here, having a top 3 pick and top 3 in cap space, if we fuck this up, we're going to be fucked up for the next like 4 or 5 years, bro. That's that 4 or 5 years, because guess what? You're going to waste another opportunity to further yourself, another opportunity to further your, you know what I mean? Like to get closer, just get closer. That's all it is, bro. So for me, like, that's where I'm at. You know, when it comes to this week, I'm a little worried, but then again, I'm not. Our defense, I think they might bounce back. Our defense might bounce back this week because the Browns offense and their offensive line kind of sucks. But when it comes to their defense and our offensive line, that's where my troubles get to melting away. You know, any worry I have of us winning a game, it all goes away once I get to thinking about who we play on defense this week. Oh my God. Hey, I'm telling y'all, get on the sports betting apps now. Whatever the over under is on Myles Garrett, I'm taking the over. Taking the fucking over. I don't care what it is, right? 5 sacks, 6. 6 sacks, 7. Hey, record. Record. I don't care, bro. When I get to think about that, it makes me feel better. We're not gonna be able to do shit against this defense. Not gonna be able to run against this defense. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna happen. Now, where the game will lie is what Shedeur does against our defense. That's where the game lies, right? That's where the game lies. Now, I wouldn't be shocked to see Shedeur come out here and throw for 300 yards and all the extra. Wouldn't be shocked. Now, would I be shocked if he struggles a little bit either? No, I wouldn't be shocked at that either. So I'm hoping that shit don't happen. So we'll see, bro. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not rooting for us to lose, but at the same time, I want a top 3 pick. So if we lose, we lose. If we win, this ain't nothing to celebrate. Ain't nothing to celebrate. So it's like, fuck. How do I feel? What am I supposed to feel? My boy, Destroy the Weights. What did you think about Ty Scissors' last performance? It wasn't his greatest game. If you're talking about the one against Oklahoma, yeah, it wasn't his best game at all. I've seen him play better games. I've saw there's some weakness in there. No quarterback is without weakness. He's been missing his deep ball right now is a little inaccurate. That's what I'm kind of worried about. But this is the thing. I still, off the positives that I have of Ty being able to understand coverage, having some mobility in him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say he has all the mobility in the world, but he can move. He can move. In these intermediate throws in the middle of the field, doing all this, he's been deadly accurate. And the one thing I put a premium on, I put this premium on any quarterback that I watch, bro. How are you in 2-minute operation? You know what I mean? Like when you got to have it moments in 2-minute operation, what do you look like? And even in the struggling game against Oklahoma and during the season, especially in 2-minute situations, dog, Ty Simpson's been money. He's been money in 2-minute situations. So we got to watch it this week, see what he looks like. But still one of my guys, bro. Still my guy. About Fernando, I do see it with Fernando, but at the same time, y'all understand what that is, bro. He needs a fucking offensive line. He needs an offensive line, bro. Like, to maximize his talent, you need an offensive line for that dude. He will get killed here if you do that. Fernando's getting killed here if you try to get him, bro. Now, realistically, my list would go, if it's up to me and who I could get as quarterbacks, bro, I'm looking at Dante Moore 1, Ty Simpson 2. Fernando would be 3. That's where I'm at. That's where I'd be at. But either way it goes, man, that's it. I'm hearing keys to victory for both teams: run the ball. Yep. Attack the Raiders linebackers and safety, run the ball on the Browns. Yep, 100%. Let Spy Tech pick his coach. Yep. Hey, appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. Y'all already know what it is. Another banger live, like my boy DJ say, man. We always get it here on the Rundown. Wednesday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. Now, next week, we're going to be live, right? But it won't be Wednesday. We're going to be doing a Thursday because we got a special guest in the building, dog. This one, you're not going to want to miss next week's live, dog. We got a very, very special guest that I'm telling y'all, it's going to be a banger next week. Always trying to bring the heat. So this one is going to be special, man. So I'm going to be announcing it during the week. Make sure if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me anywhere, man, social media, anything, y'all tap in because I will be announcing the guest pretty soon. Until then, make sure you guys are staying safe out here. Make sure you guys are still, doing your things out here, man. Hey, like I always say, the Raiders ain't doing their jobs. Don't mean we can't do our jobs and shit. It's a rough one, bro. It's a rough one. I think that if we stick through it, some point we'll find our way through it, bro. I mean, fuck, even the Detroit fucking Lions found their way out of the mud. Even the Lions. So, we got to have that hope. But as of right now, I'm not going to sit here and act like everything's peachy and rainbows. So we appreciate everybody. Make sure you guys have a blessed night on this Wednesday, man. I hear my boy crying in the other room. So it's time for me to go be a family man and be on daddy duty. So until then, man, I'm going to go ahead and do that thing. Much love to everybody. You know what I say all the time, man, on the show. We keep it authentic from clouds to the ground on a Raider Rundown. Tap in with y'all soon. Oh, hold on. There we go. I had to make sure that was it. Tap in with y'all soon.